you for this session. Whoever has been following us, it's been our fourth consecutive session, and we have not been able to get off food processing at all. And the reasons for that are, numerous. It's not just the what has been happening in the food processing sector, but also because of the kind of demand that we are seeing in this sector, both in agri-tech as well as in food processing. And also, it somehow seems that this sector is today at a very, at an inflection point kind of a thing, because the government is supporting it. There are so many entrepreneurs who are, wanting to get into the sector. The policies are being made favorable for the sector, and also in terms of the funding support that the NBFCs and the banks are showing for this sector. And as it's always known that the sector has been the having evergreen demand as well. So with that, I would like to welcome you to this particular session of our webinar series, wherein we would be talking to two distinguished panelists who have contributed a lot in this sector, right from being an entrepreneur themselves, and also establishing government policies and influencing government policies, and also in the brand development and in the actual food product development as well. So, firstly, I would like to welcome Mr. Patil, Mr. CM Patil. Good morning, Mr. CM Patil.
Good morning, Guru. Thanks a lot for having us here.
Yeah. A brief introduction. He's been a serial entrepreneur for a long time now, and he's run startups in Bangalore as well as from Hubli, a tier 2 city in Karnataka, and he has been part of the Deshpande Foundation right from when it was started, and led it to become such a big organization today, wherein he has helped more than 200 plus startups, right from their conceptualization stage to a stage where many of them have even gone to become big firms today. With that, he's also helped them to raise capital and also invested in startups as well. Currently, what is a very exciting role that he's playing is as the CEO of Krishi Kalpa Foundation, where he where the foundation actually works to influence government policies and make and formulate policies in the agri sector as well as in the food processing sector. Welcome, Mr. Patil. Next is Mr. Naveen Kumar Reddy, who has a stellar experience in the food product and food formulation sector. He has post-graduation in the food microbiology sector, and has been part of brand development as well as product development space. And he's been part of our journey as well in SolutionBuggy. And today, we would like to welcome him as well into the webinar. Welcome, Mr.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you.
So,
thank you, Guru.
Yeah. So I would like to start off, this interactive session. Whatever questions any of the audience have, I would suggest you can share it with the on the Q&A section or on the comment section. And at the end of the session, we will try and fit in as much as questions as possible. I would, get right into the webinar. And the first question I would want to take it with Mr. Patil. Mr. Patil, since you are actively involved with the government and also assisting them at various levels, both in the agri and the food sector, food processing sector, what do you think are the key initiatives that an entrepreneur today who wants to get into the food processing sector can utilize if he is, thinking of doing something in the food processing sector in 2021?
Sure. Thank you, Guru. Good morning, all. Thanks a lot for having me here in the webinar and on the particular topic, which is more happening, I would say, in this current world, because a lot has been spoken about doubling farmers' income, and again, you just can't double by increasing the yield. You need to also get it more to a money value or create a wealth for farmers. So, as Guru you rightly mentioned, at Krishi Kalpa, we are working with. Uh, Three important stakeholders. One is an institutions, other is a startup and agri-led startups, and other part is the FPOs. I think the element which you actually missed out, who are actually nothing but a farmer producer organizations. There are about, you'll be surprising to know, there are about 6,500 FPOs in the country today. As on date, Karnataka alone has got more than 450 plus FPOs formed by various departments. It could be horticulture, it could be SAFC. I mean, part of that, NABARD is also part of this, and some progressive farms have come together. So this sector, I was also recently involved in agri startup policy. We have drafted the policy. Hopefully, it should get the nod of the cabinet and then come out as a policy. It is still a little early because we have given it to the ministry and the department is looking into that part. The question what you asked, what do an entrepreneurs look out to this? I'll put it this way. So there were three different segments for this era. So pre-independence, or let's say during the time, we were only growing. Each of the family member was compulsory involved in the farming activities, right? So they were producing themselves, and the local consumption was buying within that particular network only. Slowly, as we evolved, started democratizing, started producing more, we started exporting it to the next city, neighboring district and state and things like that. Now we are exporting to the larger community as well. However, the food processing is still age old. I think it was rightly reiterated by our Honorable Prime Minister as well in a couple of days session, what he spoke on the pre-budgetary on the farm laws, where we are not giving that much importance for process part of it. And if at all I have to talk about specific about, let's say, wheat, pulses, or even cereals, right? You can store it for beyond 6 months, 8 months in a normal condition. It doesn't fade out. But look at the horticulture culture. If at all you're growing green vegetables, fruits, salads, which are in high demand, but the culprit here is that you can't store them if at all you don't have a sophisticated part of it. I think as part of MOFI, you would have Karnataka has got two mega food parks. I don't know if many of them are aware of it. Out of which one is fully operational, which is very close to Bangalore in Tumkur region, India integrated farming, which has been co-founded by Future Group as well as Satwa, if I'm not wrong. There's about close to 100 plus acres of land has been allotted for, with all the modern facilities available over there. One thing what majority of the farmers or the FPOs or even farmers are missing out is that they are not utilizing the facilities for the biggest strength. Like for example, I'll take a maize or corn or even tomato. If you grow in one season, because these are all seasonal crop, even mango for example. This year I recently attended the webinar, the event organized by Government of Karnataka Mango Board, where mango is expected to be double the production of last year. 1920, whatever they had, about 66.5 lakhs tons of metric tons of mangoes. This year they're predicting about 14.5 lakh of metric tons of mangoes coming out. Now, this is a seasonal crop. It happens only once. Now, if at all we are not encashing this moment, right, there is a lack of food processing stuffs in the state. Entrepreneurs, it's a huge opportunity. And my suggestion is that don't go for something like a mega food park. Even if some small MSME farmers are coming forward, are working with these sectors of farmers with respect to specific FPOs, even if you are setting up a processing units of, let's say, 10 ton, 20 ton processing per day, that's a huge value for that FPO. Rather than you setting up a huge volume, which are there currently at about 600 metric ton, 1,000 metric tons. It's again, you need to have a continuous feeding for them. Rather, if an entrepreneur focuses on some small set of, let's say, 10 to 15 tons and work with FPOs on this, it could be of huge value. Trust me, Ramnagar district, it could be Kolar, it could be, now I think what the government is setting up with Mandya now, specifically in Ramnagar, sorry, not Mandya. In Ramnagar, they're setting up a 25 crores budget of worth of small processing unit for processing pulp of the mango. And it can be also used for other fruits as well. If entrepreneurs use these facilities for a bigger, larger cause, right, I think there's a huge opportunities, and there's 100% FDI open for this sector. unlike many other sector. I think I see this as a greater opportunity for the private sector to get entry into the processing sector, value addition, sorting, grading, huge value. So I think I can only say that government is open enough. Now they're always calling the private partners now. Hopefully the new laws come into existence and then the get implemented. They can see a huge value there. And if
Right.
I have to quantify, uh, as I said, 14.5 lakh metric ton of mango alone is there. Tomato, see, if you sell tomato, at the max you might sell it about 9 rupees, 10 rupees at the max when you get it. But if you look at ketchup and then store it for a year and then process it out further, look at the example of Sayadri Farms. They have done, they have shown, they have been a torchbearer for many terms. It operates like a corporate today. So I think unless and until FPOs takes up this forward linkage, what I say, or a value addition, right? We can't really get the revolution for this sector. It's a happening sector, I would say. If any entrepreneur listening to this session is willing to set up some of these processing units, identify the FPOs, work with them, set up a small processing unit, see the immediate results what you can actually get from that. I hope I was able to answer your question, Guru.
Yeah. Just that you were so excited with the entire topic that it was going very fast. So yeah, but then yeah. So what you are saying is FPOs is what is going to shape the next for maybe the next decade, and where the entrepreneur has to get in is basically in giving the infrastructure to these FPOs, either through these integrated cold chains, or the food parks that you were talking about, or the mini processing plants that you're talking about. And the good news that you have given us is we are going to get more mangoes, so hopefully we'll have a very good season, at least until May or June, with a lot of mangoes. Yeah, but the more serious part is that there is a good opportunity, like you mentioned, not just in and this is the best part, because most of our entrepreneurs come from tier 2, tier 3 cities, and they kind of feel that what can I start in a tier 3 city, or what can I start in a tier 2 city. But like how you said, when Ramnagar, Kolar and Mandya, so these kind of places are being promoted, which means that even the government understands that the processing plants need not be in the metro cities, and which obviously adds to a lot of cost, logistics issues, and a lot of various aspects that have to be taken care of. When you set up these units in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, it gives them access to these raw materials at a much cheaper rate. Logistics costs are taken care of, and also gives them more confidence in there is somebody who has already done this in my own town, so I can also go for it. So this is a very pertinent question, and I think the government is doing a lot of initiatives to do mini and micro processing units in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So with that, I would switch on to Mr. Naveen. And what happens is, when somebody is coming to us, they have a fixed budget in mind about, say I would want to invest about 2 CR, and I want to get into the food processing sector. So I would want to pick your brains and try to understand what are the few sectors that you have worked with, and what are the kind of sunrise sectors that somebody can today enter into.
Yeah, thank you, Guru. See, there are different. See, 2 CR is for a startup company is a big money actually to start with. For a small company to pitch in.
Right.
But as of now, if you keep investing, I mean, 2 crores is also a big money for any entrepreneur to get into a business immediately. If you don't have a proper setup for marketing, or you don't have proper setup for selling the product in the market. So the second thing is that after this COVID, I mean, a lot of industries are coming up with natural extracts based products, and more of a health related products as of now. So a lot of people come to me asking for developing products and all that. So since we are this is a time, say, since after COVID, so we are moving towards more of a natural. or immunoresponsive products which really are in nature. So this will take some time for us to get addicted or get pitched in. This is the time for people to get into research and development of new products in that area without spending too much money on the product. I mean, setting up a big unit, spending 2 crores, doing one refreshing drink or anything as such. A lot of people are pitching in to do that. So my suggestion for people to whomsoever getting in with 2 crores budget, it is better to pitch into a product which gives immunoresponsive activity on human. See, all these years, over a period of last 60 years, we have been depending more on pharmaceuticals. So on chemical based ingredients as of now. So this 1.5 month, 2 months lockdown period, the people have started thinking of naturally getting immunity, how best we can get immunity. And now people have understood what is actually immunity is basically about. And they were having a lot of time to find how to improve on our immunity. And they also have learned, I don't have to go for a hospital for everything which I have a small pain in my stomach, I go to hospital. No, that is not there. People have started moving towards that side. So if any entrepreneur want to get in, I think they should get into nutraceutical products, which are, growing segment as far as after this COVID is, pandemic situation, which has erupted after this last 3 months, 4 months.
Rightly said, because we get a lot of people who are some of the examples of people who want to get into this are they want to do into this curcumin production out of turmeric. They want to start that, or the shatavari, ashwagandha. So these kind of products they want to do some processing and things like that. But the biggest question some of these people have, that when they want to get into this is, we don't have a brand of ourselves. Okay, one. And second thing is, these are, very, like how you said, kind of people who only understand it will be able to, take these products. So how do I go and establish a brand is also somebody's concern. So would you suggest that they go for a complete making their own new brand, or would it be, advisable that they can, supply to a bigger brand like Himalaya, Patanjali, or other players? What do you suggest?
See, good question, Mr. Guru. See, these products, as people are, if you want to set up your own, product, a brand for this, it take a lot of time. So what I suggest is slowly you can have that building up back of your this thing, but start promoting your own blend of 2-3 things, in a maybe through internet marketing, or if people are now it's growing very fast. This selling products through Amazon or any other website. So that is one way. The other way is you can see extracts and all. It's difficult for you to make. Any entrepreneur which is getting into extract business is difficult. But there are people. There is a requirement. All extract manufacturers don't do all the products. So these, if people who are getting into have to think. Find out those which are not being largely manufactured as of now. Like as you said, ashwagandha. All these, valerian root, all these are being, well known to people, and they are doing a lot of big industries like, if you say we have in Bangalore Biogen extracts, or there are a few organizations who, make extracts and sell throughout the world. So you cannot go, small people cannot go compete with them for their products. So what I suggest these kind of people is that there are other, a lot of other ingredients which these big manufacturers don't know, like like small, like village side, these uh, few of these ingredients which are grown as a vegetable, it's a leafy vegetable. All those have a lot of effects, and having a lot of medicinal value on the product. So people can, I mean, entrepreneurs can look into that kind of plant extracts or plant powders, and then start promoting it, and then the benefits can be highlighted and sold in the market, rather
Basically,
than getting into amla extract, which people are already doing, or ashwagandha extract, what people are already, a lot of industries which they are growing and then doing it.
right. Basically, you are promoting vocal for local, as
Yes,
our PM is very fond of saying. So, what you're saying is obviously there are the age-old medicines which most of us
yes,
know, and there are already companies working on it. But then there is already there is still a big gap on the natural extracts, and a lot of entrepreneurs can look back at their own hometowns and villages and see that what kind of medicines have been formulated through these herbs and small plants and small
yeah,
plantations, and then get into the extraction. But as such, the nutraceuticals and the extraction market is pretty big.
yeah.
Yeah. So thank you. Moving on to the next question, I would now want to concentrate, Mr. Patil, on one of the key aspects in the food processing sector, that is the supply chain and the raw material section, where a lot of entrepreneurs from our community and externally also have a biggest concern. That, like how you said, mangoes are coming now, but how do I, continue my processing unit maybe in the month of October, November, December, or in January, when I don't have a steady flow of the raw materials. So similarly for all the other food processing sectors as well. So what is your suggestion to the existing and new industries to overcome this problem?
Okay, so Guru, I'll try to be as slow as possible.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
so for me, I'll put it this way: the good part of agri-business is that uh, one has to do with non-metro. It is not grown in metro. So any particular company who is actually establishing in this space, I would encourage them to have a DC, a collection center at the farm gate, so that they get it at fresh. They can sort more of things. You get cheap labor. You get the cost of the logistics are very very cheaper, because let's say for example, if I'm getting 10 rupees from a village today, what majority of them are doing is that they cut and then get it to metro, and then they sort all of the valuation is done in the metro cities, which increases their costs on every other aspect. Instead, can we work with government or the horticulture department in that particular district and then say, hey, we are here to procure, now that ODOP scheme also is in live
right,
now. So
right,
we can actually say that we are coming to establish some of these sectors. Can we be given some land, or is there a way I can work with the universities who set up this particular thing, and there do a purchase? Because see, ideally the FPOs are supposed to do all of these things. Again, for various reasons, FPOs is only concentrating on the inputs of it. They are not really concentrating on the market linkage part of it. You now, if an entrepreneur sees as a problem as an opportunity, here it is an opportunity, because they don't see that how can they make it. Now, if at all they can set up some people at that particular gates and then collect all of these things, set up these at that farm gate levels only, and there it is very much easier. I have been to a lot of these districts outside, and in last 20 days, or close to about 1 month and a half, I'm traveling extensively. For I've met about close to more than 60 FPOs in person. Okay, there is a depth of knowledge for them. It is not that I wouldn't blame them. It's like a typical entrepreneur. They know what they know, but they don't know what they don't know. They're not even aware of it. Now here is where entrepreneurs who have seen the technology can work with those people. It is like a amalgamation of tops down as well as bottoms up approach. That is the synergy here. Now, existing entrepreneurs, since they've already invested, if they can set up some group of farmers, work with some two, you can't just work with one FPO. You have to work with about 10, 15 FPOs, so that your consistent in getting your raw materials. Because if you depend only on one, farmer is also at times get excited that he will, if somebody is paying 50 paisa more, he will go and give it to them. Why should he give it, come and give it to the FPOs? So that awareness has to be given there. This sector is as raw as how Indian startup ecosystem was in 2010, I would say. Like it has to, the startup India movement happened, right? Now there is a new way of Atmanirbhar happening there. So there is a good sense of micro entrepreneurship development in the small towns. And if entrepreneurs can tap this VLEs, what we call them as the village level entrepreneurs, get those delivery heads over there, rather than, again, for the benefit of audience, I'm comparing this with an IT industry. Now, any IT industry who have done export have only grown big time as compared to the startup or circuit in the local market. Now, if a startup, if an agri business is there in metro, and if he's catering only for the metros, he has to go one step below and then see can he take care of the base part of it. Once he conduces that entire base part of it, it will be easy for him to go to the next stage. Okay, and it doesn't cost much. Some of the questions I was seeing in the chat which is coming, how much it will cost. Typical processing units cost anywhere between 25 lakhs to a crore kind of thing. Okay, but you need to get the solid raw materials. Okay, what is that I'm doing for that? I would encourage people who are interested in setting up processing units to study the ODOP schemes, so that they will know which district has got large land for which particular fruits or vegetables. How can they process it? How can I increase vacuum packaging? Because there you can actually safeguard by using some vacuum packaging. You can actually store a leafy vegetable for more than a week's time. And cold chains are coming up now. How do we do all of those things? So that is how one should actually throw a light there. You can't expect to do things sitting in metros. You have to go to non-metros, see that they are being taken care. And again, don't go only in around Bangalore, because Bangalore folks generally go out. Go a little deeper, like Davangere, go to Gulbarga, Turdal. It's a huge industry there. Okay, so but again, some of them are not knowing how to connect the external market. I think we need to do that value addition. It's like a, in typical software industry we sell, right? If you sell a feature, you sell cheap. If you sell a value, you actually make upside more of it. If that has been concentrated, it will be much easier, is what I feel.
Sure, sure. So what you have, correctly highlighted is, look at the government ODOP policies and see what is right for your district, wherever you are, be it, like how you said, Kalburgi, Raichur, Gulbarga. So these are the places where the actual, crops are growing, and have some, kind of sorting or processing units at these places, so that it will reduce your cost of operations as well, and also make sure that you're getting the right kind of raw materials throughout the year, and tie up with more than one FPO, so that you have a consistent flow, and at the cost which you can manage, right?
No, one
So
point, if I may add also, Guru, on the same thing, right? Let's say there are 10 agroclimatic zones in the country, in the state. Okay, the reason why one should go on the agroclimatic zone approach, because you have a same weather, you have a same soil, you have got same pattern of people cultivating habits and all. So that will help if in each zones, if it all, and there are easily about more than 30-40 FPOs over there. If they can form an apex FPO, like a consortium of these FPOs, forming that of it, and then like a typical structure, that will help big time. Like Kolar, if you are looking, mango is there, tomato is there, some of these things. So similarly, if you can go for Ramnagra or even Chanpatna, if you say, you just now Naveen spoke about turmeric. They are all selling turmeric as is. If they powder form it and then extract cube and then sell it, it will be even more. One of my friend whom I know has set up a extract unit in Badgi, because the chili has got high. I mean, you won't be Revlon kind of industries which are normally used for lipsticks and all. They extract this part and they get a top value for this particular product. Now, bulk of these farmers are not trying it out. So it's like these entrepreneurs should actually provide a platform for these FPOs to do a market linkage. Work with them and provide that linkage, so that they will become a trustworthy partner for you.
right.
Because today it is very difficult for you and me to understand agriculture all alone in just 1-2 years, right? So rather, I will work with these consortiums, understand, put our strengths. Like if you guys are farmers producing it, I as an entrepreneur, how do I market this? If that's a strength, combine that into things.
Right, right. Like you rightly said, no, we are, kind of trying to understand agriculture, which has been running for, so many centuries within the 2 to 3 years, which obviously, you won't understand the entire length and breadth of it. Maybe you're getting a few parts of it. And then, food processing is one sector where everyone wants to get in because they think that we know food. I mean, every day we see food, we eat, and then we think that, there is evergreen demand. But then these are some of the nuances that they have to understand, unless they just want to put in money and then try to figure out how to do things. So what we also suggest is, kind of do a entire market research and then understand the market first before you want to, even put in the first plant or even start constructing the your plant. So obviously this is what has come out from this conversation as well. Mr. Naveen, moving on to you. So see, many people who come to us who want to set up a unit, obviously, they want to know that, they're going to start a small unit first and then want to grow big. But in all this, kind of, there is a confusion that should I invest in automation of my, unit first, or should I look at, going first with the manpower and then, later think of automation? The reason why this question keeps coming on to people's mind is because obviously automation is something which is very expensive compared to getting the manpower. But on the contrary, getting skilled manpower is also not very easy. Like, for example, if you want somebody to, just pick or do unloading and loading, you'll obviously get a lot of people. But when you want somebody to run a proper, processing unit, looking at the kind of machineries and things that they import and all, so then you get into this fix, because you are obviously running your units in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Then you are in a fix. Where do I get the right kind of skilled manpower? So, Mr. Naveen, what is your suggestion for such kind of confusion?
Yeah. See, for a startup company, I suggest to go with the semi-automatic processing unit only, because there are three things. For any industry you start with, there are a lot of ups and downs in the market as well as. And if you go over on, I mean, what for last 2-3 decades, which what we have learned, I mean, I have learned in this process industry, is that any industry you start, you will have to put your efforts at least for 5 years to come to a stage where you can put your product in place. It depends. I don't say all the industries are like that. Most of the industries which pitch in with medium scale will have at least you need 5 years for you to get into recognition and all that. If you set up everything together initially, say you are setting fully automatic plant initially, you'll have a problem with people, you'll have a problem with running it on a full scale, you'll have a problem with your EMIs being paid for the banks, and you'll also have a problem with as you said, technical team who is running the plant. So all these 4 things you are going to put from day one. So instead, if you start with a small with a small facility with the semi-automatic kind, you only have to opt for people. What you can do is you can slow down your process for some time to set everything. Bring people from outside. There are technical people who are well versed with a lot of equipments. But there are people who are who give guidances to run the machinery. Trained people are available in the market. They will come, set your thing. During this process, you learn it. Make people to learn. Small company, I'm telling. Then you go in this. You are going to invest more on manpower. So if manpower, if you stop maybe giving 1 month in advance notice, you can stop him, right? So you cannot stop your EMI once it is being invested for. Once you invest that much money into the system already, and you don't know what to do, for next 3-4 years with the financial this thing. So instead of that, it is better to go with a small team with with basic equipments which you want to set it up. You set it up and do it. Of course, in certain areas, your product will have very good impact when you set up a machinery. So in the later stages, you can go ahead when you have some, some volumes coming in, you set up a big and then grow big. So I suggest to go with a semi-automatic plants with a minimal investment. And then, even though getting a manpower is difficulty, it is not not that difficult in investing money, is my opinion. And I have seen a lot of people, struggling after investing so much money into the things. They'll go for a co-packing, all that is there. There are certain companies wherein you can, set up a unit. You can pack for others for some time. If you have some products in mind, say for example, if you have a product for a company like ITC or big companies, they will look at processing industry. So if people are looking with that kind of investment which you are intent to do, you can go for it. Otherwise, if you are starting from the scratch, it is better to go with the semi-automatic plant and then slowly pick up. And as I said, it will take at least for you to establish, and it will take at least 4 or 5 years. So that time is a good enough for you to learn the process as well as streamline your system and get in. I mean, when there is a when you see a big boom or big volumes are coming up, you just go for an automatic plant.
Right. I think so. What you're suggesting is get a first toehold into this industry. Try to start small, and then as and when opportunity and the finances permit, get into the larger sector. So yes. Rightly said. Basically, what you're saying is have patience, which most of us today unfortunately don't have, because everybody has seen the startups growing 2x, 20x, and 200x, especially in the IT and finance sectors. So obviously,
food is not like that.
Manufacturing and the agriculture sector. Yes, correct.
Food and nutraceutical is not that.
Right. So obviously, food and agriculture sector, being largely driven by nature, has its own limits and bounds, and we need to understand that being patient and like how you said, 5 years or 10 years is what it takes to completely set up the entire plant and set up your own brand. Of course, like how you said, small innovations obviously will lead into larger gains, and which you will understand once you are having a foothold into the sector. Moving on to Mr. Patil. See, what is generally happening? Many of us, many of the entrepreneurs who are coming to us are saying, we are already exporting a few things. We are, doing a few things, especially to the Middle East and Middle Eastern markets and all. Now they are trying to. They're beginning to realize that even the Middle East market, which was once, thought of as a market which had, continuous demand, is trying to, look at products and also look at reducing the margins and all. So that is where most of them are now thinking of getting into primary and secondary levels of food processing. So in this aspect, what do you think you can advise the entrepreneurs, and how they can get into this kind of a sector? Because traditionally India's export of agriculture products is very high, but then all of this, like how you said, has been directly produce and just sell it. But like how you said, what can they do in terms of the primary and secondary levels of processing?
Yeah. So Guru, this is the apt question, Guru, because most of them are actually selling it as a commodity. I think that has to be stopped in case if at all one has to realize the true value of this sector. Okay. And as I said, I was talking about, even Naveen also spoke about few on this semi-automated processing units. If they are entering into secondary and tertiary market, India itself is a big market for them. Okay. Now and also there is a huge potential for medicinal crops, and also which has got some sort of health benefits. Is a huge potential within the country itself. And there, if these entrepreneurs are willing to take up that plunge and say that now I was doing a conventional business, now let me do a technology intervention business. I think government is has seen this particular sector. Most of the people, horticulture department alone is giving a subsidy of about 35% to 40% subsidy has been given for most of these crops. Okay, for the plants what we are setting up, it is just that one has to understand what kind of processing units they are getting in. Again, they should not just enter just because we are talking about processing unit. They should not enter there. They need to understand the geography. They need to understand the crop. The what would you say shelf life, and then get into this part. Okay, see, tomato ketchup at one point you can't set up everywhere tomato plants there, because how do you and again it will become supply. See, one simple funda is, wherever there is a supply, if your supply is more, demand will come down. If your supply demand is there, supply will come down. So if the reason why I said the key is working with farmers, if you can't directly work the farmers, work with these intermediates like FPOs, which are nothing but commercial entities formed by farmers. There, if somebody is actually giving them insights like, hey, your neighboring farmers are growing this, can we grow this part? It's a long tail cycle, but one needs to have the patience to see that how they can actually pull it out. And if at all any of these people are willing to set up some sort of processing unit, I'll be very happy to talk to them and then see that can I connect them to a few of the progressive FPOs. I would love to see, or in the department, if at all we can connect them. We are wanting to have some private partners coming in, because currently I'm not setting up any processing unit. But if at all there are any people wanting to set up this, happy to shoulder them, help them with the right connects within the government. It could be, or it could be the farmer producer. There they can actually do it out. Okay, and so value addition is the key. Okay, and there are a lot of schemes. If I don't know if many of them are aware of this company called CAPEC, which is a government entity formed there, which is also one of the implementing agency for ODOP schemes. Okay, they can write to them. There they will get necessary guidance on what to be set up, what not to be set up, and for what, how much subsidy is available, and things like that. And one needs to see, this sector is like a typical hardware startup, I would say, because your initial capex will be very high. One has to be really wise in setting it up, or explore people. If my neighboring farm company has set up this hardware system, can I complement it, can I work with them? Because these entrepreneurs understand how to work in tandem. Like I mentioned in my opening remarks, near Tumkur we have got a India Food Park processing unit over there. Now why should I set up a processing unit in Tumkur? Now why can't I be a company, small size company, take a small lease land over there, get those crops direct? Because India processing unit is not actually in a business of procuring, processing and selling out. No, it's actually, it helps the intermediate. Basically, if you are an aggregator, you go with a certain crops, they will use all their refineries and then get you back the final produce. So you can straight away use these setups. In a typical language, I would say these are like a V-works of the world. You are a startup, you come here, everything is set up, use it and then go. So one can think of this. Okay, and I was being given some live examples of maize corp there, or sweet corns. People who are working inside as an employees figured out this as an opportunity. Today they have become entrepreneurs. They said, boss, I know the power of this, I will procure all of this, you please process and give it to me, I have a market outside to sell it on. And Garki Apida is one other institute, okay, which is all for export. Wherever they tell somebody is going, get in touch with Apida department, because they all are maintain the export rewarding part of it. That can actually help it out. So there are agencies here and there. One has to be patient enough, and use some of these startups products there. I see at times I laugh at myself, because most of these startups are directly giving this technology for farmers, which is very difficult to receive for them. You need to find a midways to see how can, because you and I understand technology, not that everybody understands the same thing. So
Correct.
no point in you going and harping a technology onto them.
Right.
Like you rightly said, no, we are trying to get the century-old knowledge that the farmers have in 2 to 3 years. So this is where it's going to end up. So, like you rightly said, there is obviously a learning curve for both of them to reach the right, point. And that is when we try and appreciate that we are both going to take time. They are going to take time understanding technology, and we are going to take time understanding the agriculture as such. So that is when both of us can work together. And just as it happens in most of the food processing seminars today as well, we have been inundated with so many questions. I'll just not pick each question, but then I'll pick the points from each of the questions and then shoot it out to both the panelists. The first one is Mr. Patil. Is there a single window approach offered by the government for guiding, funding, and implementation of startups in the food sector?
Honestly, I'm actually working with government to see how can we set up this part. In fact, today I'm also meeting a couple of department folks to see that can we get a single window. To the best of my knowledge goes, it's not there today. One has to do a 3 divisions they have to talk to for export APIDA or in Karnataka CAPEC for ODOP schemes, and also for horticulture department directly they can get in touch with it. And these departments, trust me, are very, very open. I mean, many of the entrepreneurs feel that Sarkari people doesn't knock open the door. No, it's a wrong conception. At least whatever impressions I have done with all of these people, they have openly welcome, because I'm not an agri expert coming from that sector. I more come from an entrepreneurial background. Right? If one has a solution for the problems what have been faced, they are quite open. So these 3 departments they can write, or alternately I've dropped my mail ID. You can share my mail ID with the panelist, with the other participant. If they have got any specific query, they can reach me out. My entire domain, as I said, I'm working the agri and working with the Ministry of Food Processing Unit to see what and all can be helped out there. So I'll try my best and see what can be done. Sure. Given a chance at Krishi Kalpa, we want to be a single window for that, all of this particular thing. That's the aim of Krishi Kalpa. And Krishi Kalpa is actually a not-for-profit entity. The reason why we are setting up is to address all of this problem itself.
Sure. And traditionally, SolutionBuggy also has been helping this sector. So anybody has any doubts or they want to get into this sector, then obviously we have the right kind of experts to guide you at every stage. And many questions have come in asking for the kind of budget that you have to look at. So kind of budget like both the panelists have highlighted, it can range from even say 10 lakhs plus to all the way up to 4 to 5 crores. So based on what you're getting into and what is your capability and what is your capacity and what is the market that is there for your product, then the right budget can be selected.
Also, one point, if I may add on that, yes, Guru, is that processing unit, they need to see just not processing, also storage part of it. Post processing, what are they doing the final product? Okay, and they need to think of cold chain. And there are also a lot more startups who are providing this solution for them. Right. Okay, I was recently part of Cisco Social Grant Challenge, where some of these technologies have been developed in elsewhere, and these are actually largely for small and marginal farmers. Let's say 5 ton, how do I store it? I don't need to store this 100 ton facility over there. There are biogas unit plant, not even electricity. How can I store this? So I can actually help them with some of those connects as well if somebody is interested. One key aspect one not should miss out is that how do they employ the local people? The key is many people are actually driving out. Again, reverse migration is very, very difficult, guys. Let's understand it. Let's be very careful, because people who have been to Bangalore, going back to his native is a tough ask. It's not that it's not impossible, but try and encourage people in the towns to come and get, and they are very, very willing to come forward. Okay, that could be the key for one to go to the next stage.
Right. Going forward, Mr. Naveen, you have mentioned about the nutraceuticals market. So people are kind of trying to understand how to build a product and how to get quickly into the market in the sector. What are your suggestions?
Yeah, you can go with, as I said earlier, also with a semi-automatic processing with a small dehydrator. Dehydrate this. There are two to three different kind of process which they can opt for. One is for dehydration, the other one is freeze dried. I was looking at somebody is asking for freeze dried this thing. There are some products which are which has a very huge value for freeze dried, but freeze dried project cost will be slightly costlier compared to that of dehydrated. Dehydrated process, there are 2-3 different types of processing dehydration. One is sun drying, the other one is controlled temperature drying through a equipment called dehydrator. So the 2-3 different types of process are based on their based on their investment plan. They can plan accordingly, and there are a lot of medicinal. As I earlier mentioned, there are a lot of agricultural medicinal leafy vegetables are there, which mostly people don't know, which has lot, I mean, medicinal value for lot of people. Say for example, lot of people are suffering from diabetic. There are leafy vegetables which has effect to reduce diabetic this thing. Then there are a lot of things which will improve on liver health. There are a lot of natural extracts which are you know which benefits the bloating, I mean, constipation problems, like a drumstick leaf and its fiber gives a very good remedy for a constipation problem. There are a lot of ingredients and the process which are available to opt based on their amount of investment which they are looking at. They can opt for it and go for a product. Yeah.
Right.
Product. Yeah.
Right. And then, there are a few questions which are very specific. So I would suggest if there are such questions, then please do mail it to our mail ID, info@solutionbuggy.com, and then somebody can, direct you to the right expert, like Mr. Patel, who is having a good supply of dragon fruit and turmeric. So obviously there is a good market for both these products. In fact, recently I read there is a person from the Northeast who is making wine from dragon fruit. Really very innovative product. So like that, there are a lot of products that you can look at as well by getting into this processing of these raw material. So one of the questions which came up was, how can I directly make an FPO by myself? I would think that right now it is not, as an entrepreneur, your concentration should be more on using the existing FPOs, already existing pharma process organizations, than, trying to make an FPO, because then you will be trying to, become a localite and then try to influence these farmers to make an FPO, which they may or may not, want to come and tie up with you. So there are a host of things that you will be working with. But I would leave the question open to Mr.
So,
Patil.
also, Guru, I and you can't open a FPO. That's a fundamental blockage there. Pharma produce organization can be opened only by farmers who are producers. If I am not a farmer, then I'm not eligible to open up an FPO. So please understand that FPOs is done to say that how can they make farmers and entrepreneurs, and that was the reason why government floated this FPO model. Okay, and so you and I can't just open up a FPO. That's a plain answer for that.
Right. And there's also a question on what are the kind of licenses and approvals that are required. So obviously, like how Mr. Patil mentioned, there are 3 licenses. Obviously, the FSSAI is very important. After that, if you are looking at export, then you would have to approach the APIDA and the horticulture department in your, next is, okay. A very, kind of a tangential question. There is an SPM designer who is basically a special purpose machinery designer. But what his question is that people are reluctant to invest in a new product or making a special machine for processing their food. So how would this issue can be tackled? Question to you, Mr. Naveen. How do you think somebody who is into SPM making, obviously the food processing sector needs a lot of SPMs, but how does he kind of market himself, or how can he approach these people?
How to approach, I mean,
yes, no, is there a demand, and how can he, try to get these people understand that, they can get into, they can get the SPMs manufactured and, obviously make the unit more and more effective?
Yeah, it depends on he has to go to some units where people are struggling. initially. He has to find, what right process to, you know, to make that kind of product which processes and gives the output in such a way that, because he has to do an R&D with the farmer actually, basically, who is an entrepreneur who is struggling with the process. Then establish. Then so there are other platform, lot of platform like SolutionBuggy can give suggestion, or send a lot of people. I mean, through via media, you can send these videos to people. They'll understand. They'll come back to him. Only thing is that these manufacturers should have more intent and interest to go and help these manufacturers initially. That is slightly difficult for him, but he has to do for a period of time. Then over a period of time, he will be able to solve most of the issues which people are facing now.
Right, right.
So,
So
Guru, if I may jump on that
yes,
as
yes,
well,
yes, please, please.
just again, it's like the manufacturers have to understand one common psyche of a buyer. Okay, if I'll compare this with an automotive industry so that it doesn't hurt. I'll not land it very harshly for the audience there. So let's say if a established company gives away the new vehicle, there is a trust established already, so they can buy it easily. If they are trying out, if let's say for example, Bajaj, if TVS launches already a scooter which was not earlier their expertise, then they will think twice. So, and also here you're working with a small startups who are actually setting up a low volume food grade processing. So they would ask for a proof of acceptance. So, but if at all if you guys are confident on the technology, what is going to come out, and if banks are giving some sort of subsidy for those machineries, I think that actually adds a lot more value. Even one can actually go for SIDB for some bank loans where they are processing a lot of related business aspects of it. For example, there was a startup in our ecosystem earlier by name Nanopix, which was actually doing the cashew sorting machines. Okay, so today bank is giving about close to 70% subsidy for them for their machineries. It is not the other parts of it. It costs anywhere between, it started the range of starts anywhere between 12 lakhs to 25 lakhs ranges say. But for then bankers are coming forward, and it's like a chicken and egg problem. Till your machines get proven, they will not trust you. Once your machine get proven, they will not ask the same thing. So take with a pinch of salt, work with these progressive entrepreneurs who want to make a difference in landholding. The key here is that, not that I'm going to India, I don't think India will ever venture into a market where high volume, high margin games now. Now it's all about very deep. Even in the IT industry also, you can't actually start one other Infosys or one other Wipro because it's gone over those days now. You need to be specialized, focused in that territory. Then you can actually, collaboration is the key. How can you collaborate with the other part? Once that actually happens, it will be easier. Okay, so yes, price drive the market. Understand that you're actually working with first generation entrepreneurs, so they will have got their own share of doubts. Uh, yeah.
Rightly said, because we also had this, an entrepreneur who was making these automatic pesticide spraying machines. And the way he approached the entire business was he didn't go, I mean, he already had a distribution center, but he wanted to set up a manufacturing unit for the same. Most of it he was importing from China. So the way he approached it was, he didn't, go to his customers and then say that, buy this at this price. But he went directly to the horticultural department over there and said that, how much can you subsidize this? So then the horticulture department obviously, wanted to promote Make in India and wanted somebody to make the product in India itself. So they give a, good subsidy of about 40%. And that's how he started off. But today he's, doing very good, especially in South India and the Karnataka and Tamil Nadu market. He's doing pretty well. So this is,
trust me, this is the right time for vocal to local. I mean, you couldn't ask any time better than India as at the moment, that there is a good amount of importance being given for local entrepreneurs now. We just need to explore the opportunities and then be a bit crazy and foolish, I would say. There are a lot more opportunities for one to open up.
Right. And with that, I just had a look at the clock, and like how it happens in most of the food processing seminars, we have overshot the time. I would like to thank both the panelists and as well as the entire audience for being there with us, and trying to get to understand this sector. And like always, food processing being such a huge sector, it is very difficult to cover each and every aspect. I've got some questions on kind of requests for dairy processing, for meat processing, and other industries as well. So obviously we will try and make it in our next set of webinar series. I once again like to thank the panelists for sharing their immense knowledge. Obviously, 1 hour is not enough to even pick their brains on this kind of subject matter. That obviously they have so much of experience in this sector. So thank you once again, Mr. Patil and Mr. Naveen, for making time off your busy schedule and trying to share your knowledge with the entrepreneur community.
Thank you, Guru.
Thank you
For putting us.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks a lot.